Carrera Virtuoso. This is the second review of my bike, this road bike, Carrera Virtuoso. I've done the first short review when I purchased the bike about 7 months ago, actually 9 months back. So I've been cycling pretty much twice a week. It's a commuter bike, so I thought I'll go with the budget range, and this was one of the ones that I really like in color, and I did purchase from Halfords. I'm not affiliated with Carrera or Halfords, so once that's out of the way, let's begin the review. So yeah, 9 months been cycling, commuting twice a week. Pretty good. There are a few things that can be improved in terms of design, which I'll cover, but there's a lot of pro. There's more pros to it than the cons. So yeah, let's start with the best things that comes with this bike. It's a budget range. It's not, when I purchased that one with work to cycle scheme, I did get a really good discount, but this is still, sometimes the deal comes up which are very wallet friendly compared to the rest of them, which you have the other ranges with the Boardman and a few other brands, Van Ryck, I think. I don't even know the name of the brands. I'm fairly new to cycling. I've been I used to cycle when I was a kid, countless hours every day, but yeah, ever since I grew up, didn't get the time to commute until recently. I've moved my work location, and it's not too far, about 10 miles round trip, 11 miles round trip daily I'm doing in this cycle. I'm doing twice a week, and been pretty good, very good. So yeah, the good things first. The first one I'll mention, which I did mention in my short review, this is the long one, is that it does come with this Mech hanger. So I don't know if you know anything about the Mech hanger, which is this bit. So what it does is that if you have an accident, and if you drop your bike on this side, that you have the gearing, and this gearing is, they're the most delicate parts of the cycle, of the road bikes. So if you have it, this gearing, it will sustain the damage, because this Mech hanger, it will bend, and you can take it out, replace it with a new one. So you have pretty much undamaged, touch wood, like you'll have a undamaged gearing, and these gear components will be fine, be able to use them. But if you don't have this, you might have a bend frame, or worst case scenario, you can have like a damaged gear parts, which cost a bit more than just Mech hanger, which is fairly cheap. So yeah, that's the best bit, I would say. The safety features. The other things I would say, the color, I absolutely love the color. It's a beautiful looking bike. A bit of pain to keep it clean, but I clean it once a week, over the weekends. I've got a bit of time. I'll be honest, to wash a car, I've got a very small car. To wash a car, it takes half an hour. This bike, honestly, 5 minutes max. Just rinse it, wipe it, and it's clean. Give kind of like, I clean the chains once every 2 to 3 months, because it's been commuted twice a week, so 4 times a month. So yeah, like after how much is it, 24 to 30 rides, yeah, I just change, kind of like degrees, and then put the grease back on again on the chain, clean it. The other good part I would say on this bike would be these gears, the Shimano Claris. Very notchy, It does shift really nicely. I mean, I have not a single time that I've used that I missed a shift, downshift and upshift. It does effortlessly, really good. What else is good? The seat is very comfy. Even though, you know, my shorts are padded, so I don't necessarily need this comfy, but if you are doing a longer commute, these seats are really good, really nice and comfy. Yeah, so you know, those are the, you know, it also comes with, you know, I don't know if you have noticed, it does also come with disc brakes, which is amazing for the price you pay. You know, for like sub £400 you're getting a bike with not only you know, nice notchy gearing and meth hanger, but you also have this disc brakes. And when I told this to my colleagues and friends that, you know, I bought this bike for this much and it comes with disc brakes, they were absolutely you know, in disbelief, thinking, you know, is this real? They are really good. These brakes, honestly, the only thing you have to be careful about disc brakes is that when you're cleaning the bike, make sure that if you're degreasing your chains, or if you're using GT85, which is really good lubricant, a lot of, you know, I also, after cleaning it, I kind of like wipe the frames with GT85, and then when you wash it, the grease, sorry, the dirt and everything, it comes off really easily. You can think of it as like a wax for the cars, so it's really good, protects the paintwork of the cycle. And also you can use it on the chain as well, but I don't use you know, GT85 on the chain. I use the proper Mech off lubricant when I lube the chain after washing it, after degreasing. But be careful, do not let them touch the disc brake, because it can get contaminated, and if it does, then you have to take the whole thing apart, buy a new one and replace it. So yeah, I absolutely love this bike. You know, for a road bike, it's really good. It has some cons, so let's cover the cons. So first one I would say is the cassette. Yes, so I don't know if you have noticed, you know, if you may or may not have this bike, but, and apologies as I have not washed this before I've taken, you know, it's a commuter bike, so I don't get to wash it every month. It's every 2 to 3 months, and not wash, like, you know, clean the cassette. I kind of like rinse it, but you know, ideally I should keep it much cleaner. But this cassette is 1132. Now the one that comes with the bike is 1128, and if you're cycling uphill, and if they're really steep, you will struggle to go up the hill if you know, if it doesn't have the gearing up that much higher up. So I thought I've got a fair bit of you know, bits where they're very steep, and depending on, you know, the quality of your sleep, you may or may not be tired enough to need those gearing. But I do sometimes do you know, gearing up to, you know, that higher gears where it's much easier to climb up when, you know, especially the days you're exhausted. So that's the thing that I would say, that, you know, if you have this, if you decided to go for this road bike, first and foremost, you must change it to 1132 if you have, you know, very uphill steep climbs. So yeah, that's the first bit. Second bit I would say, which is very can be very annoying at times, is that I don't know if you can tell the shape of the handlebar, the drop bars. It's kind of like, you can see it I probably could see from this angle, it goes this direction, and then it cuts right down, right, and it comes back up, so back down, so it goes, instead of being round, this bit is my most annoying bit, right? So you instead of coming round like this, which is traditionally the handlebars are in cycles, they decided to go with this modern, and there's nothing wrong with it, it's just personal preference. My only complaint is that this the shifters, they're very far away. So I'll put my hands in, you could probably see, if I put my hands in, and you can see that, okay, I can do it from there, no problem. But when you're cycling on the drop bars, if you're there, it's not very close. Let's put my camera there. So if my hands are on the handlebar in this position, where, you know, if you're going uphill, or, you know, if you really like on the drops, very low drops, you cannot reach it. You have to always be there. And this is the bit I really don't like, that, you know, you have to be constantly be on there. If you're there, if you're handling, if you're cycling, holding there, be very careful. You're not going to be able to, you know, pull the brakes at all, right? You can change the shift the gears, but to pull the brakes you have to be in this position or in this position, right? You can pull the brakes from there. So that's my second thing, you know, my complaint. But, you know, because I've been cycling for 9 months, I found out that, you know, I keep my hands in this position all the time, and then from there on I could literally just, you know, pull the brakes there. I barely do there, sometimes I do, but that's only when I'm going uphill. But yeah, this is a position I can probably pull the brakes. On this topic, you know, while I'm at it, the design of this, I guess they call it the hood. I don't like to be in this position now. I know it, again, this is a very personal preference again. I'm always on the drop bar. Whenever I'm cycling this, it feels like it's very far. The location, I think it should be slightly shortened, tiny bit. And this is fine. And if this was shortened tiny bit, it feels probably by 2 millimeters, right? Sorry, 1 centimeter. Apologies, 1 inch. If it moved by 1 inch backwards in there, right top of this one, this would make perfect sense. If you think about it, there, that's a nice position, right? And so as you drop it there, nice transition. You have to extra, I guess, if you are, again, it's a personal preference. If I am going an aero position, this is perfect, right? So I can, you know, rest my forearm on it and then go in aero. But I hardly go in aero position, so I hardly get to use this bit, and it's kind of, for me, it's a bit redundant. But apart from that, yeah, very good bike. My third complaint about this bike would be the choice of the tires. It comes out of the box. Please do not ride with those tires. And sincere apologies, you know, it's been 9 months, so that's the first time I did my last review, short review, and you know, I'm doing this again. Please do change the tires. If you're commuting, those tires are very thin. So I went with, I don't know how to say it, Schwalbe, yeah, Schwalbe Marathon Plus. They are fantastic. Until I switched to Schwalbe Marathon Plus, with the standard tires that came with it, I was having puncture once in every 2 weeks, once a week. Luckily I do have half woods, and you know, and I'm not, you know, that competent, and you know, I've not been cycling in years and years, donkey's years. So I you know, when you're commuting, that's the last thing you would like to do, which is like, you know, change your tires on the way. And if it's dark, you know, for the last, this is nice bright and sunny, you know, sun's out, beautiful day. But in the last 9 months, before the daylight kicks in, I've been cycling through very dark days, and that's the last thing I would like to do. So yeah, those few times was horrific when you have the puncture. Switch to Schwalbe Marathon Plus. You know, again, you know, as soon as I switch it to Schwalbe Marathon Plus, touch wood, not a single puncture. Sorry, I lied. 1 puncture, and that was entirely my fault. It was dark and there was a pothole. I decided to, and I was going downhill, and decided to go got carried away a bit more speed than I should have. So yeah, there was a puncture there, and yeah, tire did hold up really well, but it was mostly the tube inside which needed to be changed. But yeah, tire was not, you know, it's still the same tire, and I've been using it for the best part of last 9 months. Absolutely happy. So yeah, also, you know, if you'd like to do the commute, maybe I should have left the reflectors, but I feel them a bit tacky. So the you know, it did come with reflectors which are side reflectors on the wheels, and I chuck them out. Instead, what I would suggest, you could invest on these race blade mud guards, and they are really good. They're great. I would go to an extent to say that they're a game changer. The reason being, when you're cycling, especially if you're commuting, all the spray that's coming up, if you got a backpack, or if you got, you know, if you're waterproof, your jacket, you've got a long streak on your back all the way to your back of your neck. Yeah, and these are nasty stuff, like, you know, you're cycling on the dirt, yeah, pretty all the dirt of the world that's going to go on your back, and you don't have to, you know, you don't have to deal with that thing. So it's pretty good. And also on the front, I would say this is really nicely fitted as well. I've got them from Halfords. They're called the race blade mud guards. This one is also really good. A lot of people kind of don't give that much importance on the front one. I would say this is equally important. If not, because if this is spraying and if you're going really fast, you've got a bit of speed, it'll come up, and guess what it's going to hit? And if you're in a drop bar position, it's going to hit right in his face. So you'll be sprayed over. All the dirt on the floor, all the dirt on the street, everything is going to go right in your face, right in your mouth. And yeah, I don't think that's the most pleasant way to cycle. So yeah, that's all about it, you know. Normally I go for a much higher seat, but for commuting, safety first, you know. If I have to at some parts I have to be seated, at the same time I should be able to barely touch the ground, so I can kind of like glide through some part of my commute where I have to do that, because they're very slow speed, and it's you have to be wary of the pedestrians as well. So those are the bits why I kept the seat so tiny bit low. I could probably put it up a bit to put down a bit more power. I don't need it. I'm not racing, you know, I'm commuting, so comfortable. And if anything, I might actually get rid of drop the bars. Not going to negative, but these rings, I could probably cut it down a bit, drop the handlebar tiny bit down, probably by probably an inch, and that'll be nice. Always in a nice drop bar position. And for 10-mile commute round trip a day, I don't think that's a big deal, so it'll be absolutely fine. So yeah, this is my long review, and apologies if I've been, you know, carried away talking a bit too much about the cycle. I absolutely love this cycle. For my first road bike, in you know, ever since I was a kid, absolutely happy. There's nothing I can complain about it. Really good, apart from those small things which you know, I guess they're negligible. I don't think they're a deal breaker for the price tag. This is a fantastic deal. So if you're planning on buying a Carrera Virtuoso, the new model, or this is the 2023 model, yeah, last year I've got it. So yeah, drop a message if you'd like to know anything more. And yeah, thank you for watching this clip. Much appreciated. Thank you.